This is Cherry Bounce. It is a very popular liqueur from the 1700s that was a favorite of George Washington's. You make it by combining cherries and spices and brandy, and it's delicious. I made it in a recent episode, and I immediately thought only cherry soda tasted like this, because this tastes nothing like cherry soda. It tastes like warm spices and deep cherries and maybe just a hint of tartness. Chocolate maybe even is in there. It's incredible. And why doesn't cherry soda taste like this? Why can't cherry soda taste like this? Could I make a cherry soda that tastes like this? Well, let's see if I can. So looking at this, the obvious first move is to just try making Cherry Bounce, but without the brandy. I'll lose whatever flavor the brandy is bringing to the table, but honestly, when I drink this, I think overall, whatever that brandy is bringing taste-wise, it's like way below what I'm perceiving. What I'm getting here, the cherries and the spice, what they're doing. The brandy, I think, is contributing a sensation that goes with alcohol and maybe a mouthfeel. There might be some vanilla notes coming from the oak. They're gonna be pretty drowned out. And I'm not sure that any non-alcoholic beverage can replicate alcohol. You know, that's an industry level billion-dollar problem. If you can solve that problem, you'll be very rich. I'm probably not the wizard who could solve those problems. So for right now, I just have to put that aside. We're not gonna be able to replicate brandy in our Cherry Bounce soda. So my first attempt here is gonna be to just make a cherry soda by following the basic plan of Cherry Bounce, but without brandy. I'm gonna make a test batch and see what I get. Now I did just make Cherry Bounce. When you look at how Cherry Bounce is made traditionally, you start with cherries. But the only things you wind up getting from those cherries are juice and pits. The pits, they contain this like tasty little chemical called Benzaldehyde, responsible for things like almond and marzipan and whatever. It's in the pits of all stone fruit. I had already, when I made the original Cherry Bounce in the previous episode, dismissed with the idea of using real cherry pits because they also contain cyanide. And there's just actually no reason to deal with that and the math involved when you can just buy Benzaldehyde from a flavor supply. And the juice is juice. So frankly, I'm just gonna skip the idea of working with whole cherries. It's gonna make the process here cumbersome and complicated and messy. There's no reason to do that. Any 100% cherry juice should be fine for our purposes. And by that I mean any juice that is 100% cherries, not 100% juice, cherry juice, because that could have apples and grapes in it. I mean 100% cherry juice. When you put it all together, Cherry Bounce is probably like 30 or 50% cherry juice because the sugar and the brandy take up a significant portion of this liquid. So I'm gonna make my first test batch at around 50% juice, and I'm gonna see where I wind up, and from there, hopefully be able to dial this in. And I did do some notes on this and maybe even a little experimentation because I also don't wanna use whole spices. There's actually no reason to. I can use complete essential oils from those spices because essential oils contain all of the flavor that is in nutmeg and cinnamon and clove, just distilled down. And that is what they are, by the way. An essential oil is the essence of the thing, and it's extracted by either pressing or infusing, and then ultimately distillation to remove any solvents that are utilized there, I think. And I'm going off of some assumptions here, but I do know it's 100% essential oil and that they are used traditionally in the preparation of soft drinks. If you're gonna use essential oils, make sure you're getting them from a reputable supplier who provide a safety data sheet, GCMS, that's a gas chromatography mass spectrometer thingy, and then like a CAS number and a couple of other things that prove that like, no, this is 100% the thing that it says. And even better than that, when you have GCMS, it'll say like, well, it's, you know, 70% this component and 80% this component, and then these terpenes are in there because that's what's in the nutmeg or the cinnamon or the whatever. I don't know if you're aware or not, but sleep comes in types, and we all have one, including you. Did you know that you had a sleep type? Well, you do now. Do you know what your sleep type is? Not if you haven't taken the Helix Sleep Quiz, you don't. Helix Sleep, sponsor of this episode, have a quiz that they use to deduce your sleep type and pair you with a mattress specifically designed for said sleep type. They paired me with a Midnight Lux. And how have I slept since then? Like a bear. You ever wonder why people say sleep like a baby? I've had a couple of those. They don't sleep so well, so don't sleep like a baby. Sleep like a log, or like a vampire, or maybe a sloth, or better yet, a bear. They sleep a super long time, all winter long. And while I can't quite manage a whole season, thanks to Helix Sleep, I could put away 3, maybe 4 days at a stretch in a deep, torpor-like hibernation. Helix Sleep has no stores to visit, no salesman to deal with, and that's good because I don't like either of those things. Instead, it comes directly to your front door in a tightly packed box, and the shipping is free. They have a 120-night sleep trial. If you don't like your mattress, they're going to take it right back. No questions asked. Instead of testing it out in the store, you get to test it out in your very own home by sleeping on it. Pretty snazzy. Hey, you ever hear that expression, cooler than the underside of a pillow? That's a good kind of cool. Even better than cucumber cool. You should try to be cool like the underside of a pillow, or better yet, just Helix's new Comfort Adjust cooling pillow. Not only can you adjust the firmness of it, it also uses Glaciotex heat-conductive fabric to stay as cool as its underside all night long. I don't know what Glaciotex is, but it works. My pillow stays cool, and it's more comfortable than a pile of cucumbers. Thank you, Helix Sleep, for sponsoring this one. Visit helixsleep.com/howtodrink to take advantage of their Labor Day sale and save up to 30% off of select mattresses.
Back to the show.
Take a 1-liter test batch, drop in a stir rod, boop, and between that and my micro pipettes, we are in business. First thing I need is 60 microliters of Benzaldehyde. My Benzaldehyde is already diluted 50% from my supplier. I want 30 milligrams of active components. I should have done that in my head, but I'm an idiot. And so I need 60 microliters of my Benzaldehyde. Should I wear gloves and safety glasses and be a big giant nerd? I should. Some of you are gonna roll your eyes and say, isn't that a little overkill, Greg? Well, the other day I didn't have my safety glasses on and I was adding some citric acid to something, powdered citric acid, and the lip of the bag it came in, because like grocery store stuff, like kind of flicked, and it shot a grain of citric acid straight into my eye, which was great. I'm really lucky it wasn't some other acid or something else. So now I'm kind of serious about safety glasses, and I always wear these gloves when I work with this stuff because a lot of these compounds are super powerful, and I don't even know what would happen. It'd be like getting skunked by cinnamon or something like that. And my wife is very sensitive to smells, and I'd rather not have to sleep in a separate bedroom, so. Nerd mode, what we'll find is that, oh boy, Ivan. Take a tiny micro pipette tip. We're dialed into 60. Open my Benzaldehyde. When you use these, you dial it in, it moves a little detent, and you'll feel that when you push down. So you depress to the detent, put it in there. It pulls up only from the detent. I have a drop on there, which I shouldn't. And then you clear the whole thing. Now I need 4 microliters of the next 4 things. I cannot use that. So I took a 100% Nutmeg Essential Oil. I made a 1% dilution. So I need 400 microliters of that. If you've never used a micro pipette, and I think a lot of you probably haven't, you ditch the tips so that you're not contaminating one thing with the next. They are used a single time. They're really cheap. You get a huge box of them, bag of them for like almost nothing. The box is handy. I got yelled at by the internet for not having this box. They were right, the box is great. I'm not a fan of having to load the box. Presumably in a real lab, I would have like interns. I don't got no interns. All right, this is Clove 400. Just like real Cherry Bounce made from cherries, these guys are all made in equal measures. That's how you make Cherry Bounce, at least according to Martha Washington's Good Cookbook of Good Cookery with Unnecessary E's in it. Good, G-O-O-D-E, and 400, right? I am not wrong. I wrote 444, yeah, okay, 400 micros. And if you're curious about that, that is going to be, remember, we're working to a liter here, and in a liter, 1 microliter is 1 part per million. And I learned that trick from Darcy O'Neill at Art of Drink, whom, if you're interested in soda development and soft drink development and flavor science, you really should be following, because he is the real scientist here. I'm chemistry alcohol clown. Next, I need some water, and we're gonna fill to 1 liter. We don't need to be 100%, billion% accurate here. I just need some water in there. That's a little hazy. I wonder if I failed to rinse something. Well, whatever, and we'll get that guy stirring. I think it'll be all right. So I'm at 200 mils here, approximately. These are not dead on accurate. Yeah, it's probably 200 actually. It's okay. For the purposes of this test, we don't need to be 100% accurate. What I have here is just a simple bottle of RK Knudsen family organic Tart cherry juice. This is 100% red Tart cherry juice from concentrate. I don't need to add acidity to this, which would be malic acid, because I think this should carry that. If it comes out low acidity or something, we'll worry about that then. So I've got a 250 milliliter graduated flask here. I want to be somewhat accurate here, so we're gonna do half, that's 250, and another 250. Make sure this guy's stirring fast. We want to really get this integrated. And then I'm just gonna make to 1 liter, which I've measured, it's right about there, to top this guy up. And that'll be approximately 50% juice, which is, I think, approximately where our cherry bounce is. I did forget one thing, the sugar, which I think we'll be able to drop right in there. 135 grams. Okay, I keep a great big bin of sugar over here. 135 grams, which gives us 13.5% sugar by weight. Someone's right now saying, not really though, because you have a liter of liquid in there. Yes, I screwed up. I confess, I screwed up. So this is not a perfect test. And I may even have to take some liquid off. All right, I have to take some liquid off, but probably not that much. It's just like a giant transfer pipette. I don't even think it has a measurement on it. It's just big. All right, admittedly, this is now a super imperfect test, but this is our first go. It's okay. I was supposed to add the sugar before I took it all the way up to a liter. I really goofed. But I actually think we're in good shape. All right, let that dissolve. Full disclosure, I should probably let this go longer. I should probably chill this in the fridge before tasting it. But let's see if we're close, or if we're even barking up the right tree here. It's funny, this is undersweet. And I can't math this out in my head, but I think it probably is undersweet, but pretty darn good. Maybe that's, drinking them side by side, this is really sweet. And in fact, I have thinned this out on other times enjoying it, like I could right now. The spices are a bit louder. Oh, actually no, but when you thin them out, they're like identical. I think that I messed up a little bit on this, but on the whole, that's really good. This is on the right path, but there's a problem with this, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. First, I'm compelled to say this. None of this show is possible without the patrons who make it possible. Ad revenue on YouTube is no longer sufficient to make a show like this possible. That is multiple people's full-time jobs, way beyond being a hobby. It takes a lot of research and development and space and just frankly time, multiple people's full-time jobs. So if you love How to Drink and you would like to see it continue to exist and continue to be able to do things like this, please take a look at my Patreon and see if there's anything over there that would make it worth your while. You're gonna get access to our private Discord, you're gonna get access to the HTD app, you're gonna get access to behind the scenes looks and additional content and additional drinks and our Secret Santas and all the things that Dennis and the mods in the Discord are organizing. And if that's of interest to you, I hope to see you in the Discord. And to those of you who've been making the show possible, thank you so much for doing so, really. Okay, this is delicious, like perfect, or damn near perfect, it's on the way, right? Here's the problem with this. For this to be practical, reproducible, and more or less shelf stable, I don't want a recipe or a process for making completed batches of cherry bounce soda. What I want is a cherry bounce syrup. That's how soda works. You have a soda syrup, you mix that with carbonated water to produce the drink. Usually in a 1 part syrup to 7 parts water. My understanding is in that the old days of the soda fountain, they called that the solid pour. The syrup in that syrup is formulated so that when you dilute it at that ratio, you land on a drink that has the right amount of flavor components in parts per million, the right amount of sweetness, the right acidity, the right color, which by the way is really good looking here. To make this cherry bounce soda here, that happens to be 50% juice from a syrup that is poured into soda water in a 1:7 ratio, there's a couple of ways that I can go, and really only 2. I could make a syrup that contains the sugar, just the sugar, the spices, the benzaldehyde, etc., and add that to a specially prepared soda water that's 50% juice, but that's ridiculous. If I'm gonna make a specialized seltzer just for adding cherry bounce syrup to and have it around, why even make it as a syrup? I would just make the completed batch. Those 2 things wind up being useless without the other, and they only exist for a single purpose. So in that case, yeah, I may as well just make completed batches. And it's also impractical. I can fit a little bottle of cherry bounce syrup in a fridge to make a soda with when someone wants one or when I want one. But storing kegs of cherry bounce at the ready that's gonna have a limited shelf life, to say nothing of commercializing this, which I would love to at least be able to do. I have a whole plan to make the sodas on the show available in limited quantities to the audience out there. I bought drinksoda.com for that purpose. So I hope that I can actually put this one in your hands if it comes out good, The Cherry Bounce soda that we make needs to be made from a single syrup combined with a regular soda water. And that leaves me with just the one other option, which is to somehow get 3.5 ounces of juice out of 1 ounce of syrup. My first thought here is that, okay, so maybe I can concentrate cherry juice, right? Like that makes sense. Honestly, I'm sure enough that I can't pull that off, and I'm not even gonna bother trying it. Heating the juice, cook it down, is gonna certainly alter the chemistry of the flavors. Plus, I don't know what would be lost to the air more than just water, certainly. The second thought I have is, well, maybe I could fake it. Just make a cherry flavor that tastes like real cherries from isolated flavor compounds. And saying it right now, I realize how dumb I was to try that, because if I could do that in my dinky lab, someone else would have done so first and be very rich, because there's a reason that cherry flavor doesn't actually taste like cherries right off a tree. That is really hard to do. But I without thinking things all the way through, I tried anyway. Spoiler, it sucks, I think. Let me try it. It's a bit different because it was like partially carbonated and chilled. Right away, it's like blue raspberry notes. What I was able to pull off was something akin to blue raspberry, but with some Cherry Bounce spices in it. Yeah, I hate that. I don't even like blue raspberry. And it was a humbling enough experience to make me realize, like, okay, that's not gonna work, throw that away. That brings me back to just trying to figure out a way to concentrate cherry juice. And I don't really think I can do it for the reasons that I've already given, but maybe somebody else can. Maybe there is a way, either in another lab or some other industrial process, that can concentrate cherry juice without destroying the cherry flavor. Maybe that product already exists. Amazon to the rescue, it does. Or I hope it does. I haven't tested this yet, but right here I have 100% Montmorency cherry concentrate pressed from over 2,000 cherries in this bottle. That's a lot. And the directions say, mix with water, soda, lemonade, or any cold beverage. Add 2 tablespoons, 1 ounce of concentrate per 6 to 8 ounces of drink, or 2 cups per gallon, according to taste. Try it in yogurt, smoothies, or ice cream. So that actually should work out, I think, magically, to being a 3.5 ounce pour of non-concentrated cherry juice coming out of a 1 ounce pour of syrup. If that works, we have a way to make concentrated Cherry Bounce syrup that pours 3.5 ounces of juice from every 1 ounce of syrup. So I just have to see if it works. I've been saving this for camera. I haven't tried this yet because I really want finding out if it works or not to be for the first time on camera, so that there's stakes, so that I'm not just storytelling, we're story finding together on how to drink in the How to Drink lab. So in the intervening couple of minutes here, this actually did a lot more mixing and integrating, and I kind of know that that is a process that takes time, and I should have given it time, and I should have chilled it, and I should have carbonated it, but we're making a show here. And I took a swig from the bottle, and it's getting much better. Much, much better, much more like real Cherry Bounce. More flavor expression from the spices, more of that everything. There's a part of me that wishes this was a little bit more spiced, but here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick with the spec that I just used, and then if I want more, I'll just add more, and then we'll dial in the recipe from there. And then when we have that figured out, we'll have the spec. Goggles on! So if we are remembering, we need 60 microliters of the Benzaldehyde. And I'm not gonna make any Benzaldehyde dad jokes today. I've done it too much on the show recently. Just too much, okay. I did the math here. So it's a little bit tricky because there's a lot of math involved, like the density of sugar and the density of this and the solubility, miscibility of the two together to figure out if this was in a syrup that was 100% using concentrated cherry juice as its liquid, how much of that would wind up in 1 liter of soda. Because there's 125-ish milliliters of syrup in a liter of a drink, because it's 7-to-1. Maybe 65 milliliters of this would be carried through in a pour of syrup. Off the top of my head, that feels like it's gonna be short, but maybe not. Maybe it'll do what we need it to do. Let's try 65 for now. Oh, that is like thick. So now I am having another concern, which is that I don't know how much sugar we're gonna be able to dissolve into this. But we'll find out, we'll find out. I will rinse the water that goes in here through this, give that a stir. So we've got our Benzaldehyde, and now it's just 400 of everything else. I'm kind of counting on the concentrate to carry the acidity that we need, which would be malic acid, because that's what's in Tart cherries. But this is already Montmorency cherry, which I believe is a Tart cherry. So we probably already have the acidity here. And if not, we can just add it in. It's not a big deal. So going with 400 microliters of 1% cinnamon bark dilution. And I think that in practice, I might want to take this up to 60 units or whatever it is. But let's start with the 400 for now, as in going to 600 of 1%, which I believe is 60 parts per million. 400 microliters of the nutmeg. I don't trust my math. I say things like, I believe this to be true, because until I check my math, I don't trust it, because I am bad at math. I use spreadsheets and calculators, and that's the clove leaf. We're gonna add some of the water now, then we're gonna add the sugar, and then we're gonna get the rest of the water in there. Here we go, adding like 500 mils of the water. That color makes me think this is gonna work, because that is dark. Okay, now we need 135 grams of sugar. 135 goes right on in there. Watching how much this is raising the level, I'm realizing that my previous batch was way off. That's okay though. With that mix, I gotta get the rest of my water. All right, so this has been mixing for a while, and while it was mixing, I realized I had forgotten to rinse this out like I said I was going to, so I took some of this, put it in here a few times, and rinsed it back out. So we have all the appropriate amount of concentrate in our 1 liter test batch. Let's get a glass and see if this worked. I really hope it did. Moment of truth. It smells right. Of course, this is flat, not cold, and not carbonated, so. Okay, this is really good. I do want to increase the spice component. We'll just do it by 50% more. And I think I want 1 gram of malic acid in here. This has excellent intense cherry flavor, which is awesome because there's only 65 mils of concentrate in this whole liter. And it's got excellent like Benzaldehyde almond notes. Like those are on the money. It could use a little bit more spice intensity, like I was saying. Okay, 200 micros of the nutmeg, the cinnamon, and I think maybe most importantly, the clove. Forgot my glasses. 200 of our clove leaf oil. Crank this up. Let that go for a second. I'm going to attempt to carbonate a little of this and then pour it over ice and see how it is carbonated and on ice. Again, I should put it in the fridge, come back a few hours later, and I probably will. But at the moment, I'm on camera and filming this right now, right? Take this little guy. I don't have a funnel within my eye line, so I'm gonna use this intermediary bottle. Put it into this 1 liter PET bottle. This is called the carbonator cap. If you're not gonna use like a countertop soda carbonator, and I probably have a few around here somewhere. In truth, if you have the capacity for it, if you have a kegerator or something like that or whatever, this is a better way to carbonate stuff, right? So you just tighten this up, and that uses the standard ball lock that a corny keg hooks up to your gas. This pressurizes like crazy. While it pressurizes, you shake it a lot, and it's crazy because you'll hear the gas coming out of your tank and stop. And then as you start shaking it, you'll hear it start going through again. And that's because as you increase the surface area of your liquid, it absorbs more, and so the tank has to feed more to get it at pressure. That's how you get this stuff good and carbonated. It will not carbonate very well because it's warm. We're just trying some stuff here, okay? And that's off camera, unfortunately. That's down here. I gotta get a long gas tube. I don't have one yet. It's happening. We're locked, and the gas comes out now. There it is. You see it happening? This is like super pressurized right now, and I can tell from that froth that the cherry juice in here wants to off-gas aggressively because there's little nucleation points in there. So that's something that we're gonna have to deal with this stuff. Okay, here we go. Ice cube in here. Very gently gonna try and let the gas off of this. It's good. I was actually expecting it to just foam right up to the top as soon as I started depressurizing it, but let's see what happens. It's pretty good, and it does appear to be a bit carbonated. Of course, at room temperature, as soon as it hits that ice cube, it's gonna do this. It's not like that's too bad looking though. Cold and carbonated, here we go. So good! Woo! Yes! Yes! This tastes awesome. It is so flavor packed. It dances on the sides of your tongue. It is just so spiced and nice. And it has that very lovely Benzaldehyde note from it would be from Pitts. This is, in my opinion, a perfect representation of the Cherry Bounce of yore as a soft drink. Now, like I said, two things. This is less sweet than the Cherry Bounce of yore, to the point that I actually have been, and I enjoy this, watering my Cherry Bounce down just a touch, or pouring it over ice, which is very nice, and letting it melt. This is much sweeter, and it does have some intensity to it that I think you can't get without cognac. I just don't think that's gonna happen, but that is the best damn cherry soda I've ever had. It's awesome. So now that I've got a recipe that works in the test batch and the concentrate proves to be really good, I want to see if I can make a syrup. I did some math on this, and normally a common way to make a soda syrup is that you dose it into soda water 1 to 7. 1 ounce soda syrup, 7 ounces seltzer, that's your drink. My math was suggesting that at this level of sugar concentration, which is 13.5%, that would have, at the batch size that I wanted to make, that would have been impossible because I want to make a 500 mil. So this is actually going to be structured so that it's 2 to 6 instead of 1 to 7. So for every 8-ounce drink, you would do 2 ounces of the syrup and 6 ounces of seltzer. I'm going to build it in this, and we're going to do 500 milliliters of this. So let's do all the safety things. Let's put on our gloves. Let's put on our glasses. Come on, children. Come on now. You know, do it right, guys. Think about what Mr. Wizard would say. My kids are watching. I put Mr. Wizard on our Plex so they can watch Mr. Wizard now, just like it's the old days. Mr. Wizard, man, he invented like TikTok, basically. If you ever actually watch Mr. Wizard, it's just unrelated segments that are about 2.5 minutes long. It's like ADD viewing predicted, you know? All right, here we go. Nerd alert! Okay, we want 120 microliters of Benzaldehyde. Just to refresh my own memory, no acid added to this. After spending a little bit of time with it, I felt that the test batch from the concentrate was acidic enough. I might change my mind down the road, but for right now, I'm pretty pleased with it. And then it's pretty simple. It's 800 micros of my 1% of all the spices. So that's 800 microliters of clove leaf. Remember, this is a 1% solution, so that's why. Clove, now nutmeg, 1%, 800 micros, and cinnamon. And these are essential oils as opposed to isolates, so they just carry more flavor compounds. They have more components. It is a more, let's call it full spectrum flavor thing, package, whatever, an essential oil. Darcy says that, you know, to some extent, it's like does more of the work for you because you don't have to like bring every single little thing to the table. And if you look up like historic soda fountain recipes, a lot of them call for, or maybe all of them call for essential oils. Classic, like, you know, 7X Coca-Cola, like the earliest Coca-Cola recipes is mostly essential oils, if not entirely. And then some spicy alkaloids too. It's funny, I brought water because I thought I was gonna need water, but I don't need water. But what I do need is 270 grams of sugar, and I think this will work out okay. There you go, 270. This is the cherry concentrate. We're gonna make to 500 milliliters by filling this to our 500 milliliter mark. As I've said, those are approximate, and so none of this is ever gonna be perfect. My concern is that this is very thick, and of course, I'm seeing that again now. And if this is this thick, how well is this gonna dissolve? And I'm going to, just because this is what makes sense to me, I'm sure there's another way to do this. I don't know how much of the volume of this sugar is going to disappear into the liquid, right? Because they will start to take up, because the way the chemistry of this works, they'll take up some of the same space. If you were to measure a 500 milliliter beaker, this is 300 of this and 300 mils of that, you wouldn't wind up with 600 mils of stuff, right? They kind of fold into each other. I want to avoid using heat because I'm kind of worried about how that would affect flavor here, but warmth might help. Not quite heat, but like just a little warmth. Happily, I have that equipment right here. Let's go with like 60 degrees Celsius. I'm trying to get like a vortex forming here, but this stuff is so thick that this might be a real problem with this system. There we go. I think it's starting to go now. What happens is when it's so thick, the resistance on the little stir bar, there's a magnet that's inspiring it to rotate underneath here, right? When the liquid is this viscous and there's solids in there, like the sugar that isn't dissolved, resistance on the stir bar can have it pop off the magnet and then it loses traction is really the way to think of it. It looks like at the moment we're getting a little stir here. I want to get it to go as fast as I can, of course, because then we'll get more energy into the system. More agitation, it'll dissolve better and faster. We still have a lot more sugar we have to get in here. I'm gonna add the sugar extremely gingerly because I don't want a big glob of sugar to get dragged down in there and just gum up the works. Like the sugar is just sitting on the surface here. So hopefully this will work. And a little heat like this is probably not a big deal. I definitely don't want to have to boil it because I don't know what that would do potentially to the flavor. It was viscous to begin with. As the sugar dissolves in there, it's becoming more viscous again. A moment ago, I had a really good deep vortex happening. Not so much anymore. So it's still turning fast. I've just pushed the temperature up to 67. It's still rising. It's at 58 because this is getting thicker and more viscous. We have a little bit more sugar to go here, actually a fair amount. It says 150 milliliters, but you don't really measure solids by milliliters. But I think we're good though. I mean, if we can get this all dissolved in there, it should take us to just below 500. So I eyeballed this right about right, assuming it dissolves, which is a different question. Like right now, it is just spinning and sitting on the surface. It's just very frustrating having to add this like basically scattered grain by grain. So from here, we're just gonna kind of start working that down. And once I have all of the sugar in the liquid, I'm just gonna let it go for like 10 minutes. And that should be enough at temperature, which is currently 70 Celsius up to 73 is where I'm taking it. 10 minutes like that, and we should have this dissolved. If it's ever gonna dissolve, in my opinion. And if it doesn't, then like I said, we have to look at an alternative solution. All right. It's basically in there. Give it 10 minutes and see how it comes out. Hopefully it comes out like we can use it. All right, it's actually been a little over 10 minutes, not much. And I think we have a solution. Let's try to make a soda. This is too exciting. Too exciting. Let's get some cold seltzer from the taps. And I'm gonna measure out 60 mils of syrup, which I think is the appropriate amount. I'm gonna try to add this a little bit more slowly, just so that it hopefully does not have that explosive fizz. I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen a soda syrup this thick, so I don't know how well this is even gonna work. Just gotta take that foam off. Trade it like whatever that beer is. Is that fully in there? Oh yeah, it's dissolved. There we have what I hope to be my cherry bounce soda. Wow. Wow, yes, it worked. It's so good. So the foam is intense. I think that there's a lot of undissolved syrup kind of on the surface of those bubbles in the foam. And actually we should have a little bit more of that in there. That should in fact all have made it in there based on the measurement. It's so good. It is exactly what it was when we built the test batch, which was the goal. So yes, we have succeeded. I have a cherry bounce soda syrup. May not be the most practical soda syrup because of how thick it is, how much sugar has to be dissolved into it. The fact that it's 2 to 6 is not my favorite in terms of mixing ratio, service ratio, and that you have to pour it so slow. Like, I don't love all of those things. I think I can address that, but, oh boy, intensely cherry spice Benzaldehyde is so good. This is awesome. I love the way this tastes. It's like no cherry soda you've ever had in your life. It's unreal. I would love to be able to bottle this up and sell it. I would love for you to be able to buy this cherry bounce soda. I'm working on that. Hopefully I can pull it off. What would we call it? We need a name for this. How about Martha's Bouncing Cherries? Get like a bottle with a kind of a pinup girl on there and a powdered wig. All right. I actually ran that by Meredith. She approved. It's so good. See you guys soon. Yum, 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 yum.